A new live event. I'm really excited today to share with you about growth, especially personal growth. It's an area that I'm very passionate about, and I'm sure that you will learn a lot. I would encourage you to take some pen and paper, take your phone, take notes, because I'm going to share a lot of very valuable information. So today is about growth. And I'm going to have a presentation here. And today we will share about growth, but this comes in the background of us sharing more about X factor. So I would review today a little bit what I've shared about X factor, just 2 or 3 minutes. And then we will speak about the working genius, about the freedom compass, about the abundant life 10x system, the one thing and domino effect, the 1% daily growth, daily routines and habits, and weekly review. So my big promise today, if you're going to apply what I am sharing, you will be in the top of 1% in the world. I promise this. There are very few people who have written down their goals. Probably the statistics are saying about 3% of the world. But it's not enough just to write down your goals. It is important to have a strategy to fulfill them. And today I'm going to share with you some very practical ways and how you can achieve your goals, how you can grow personally. I would like to start with a story that I understand it is a true story, the Acre of Diamonds. It's being said that a gentleman heard about diamonds and the possibility to become wealthy if he finds a field with diamonds. So he decided to sell his property, his farm, and started on a very long journey to find a field of diamonds. And year after year, he traveled, he searched for that field. He spent more and more money, and toward the end of his life, he had very few resources. And eventually, he was not able to find a field of diamonds, and he died. And the story says that the person who bought the farm while digging the property did find some diamonds and dug some more and find more diamonds. And it's being said that this was one of the biggest fields of diamonds in the world. And how sad, yes. The person who was looking for diamonds sold this field, and it was in his backyard. So the author says your diamonds are not in far distant mountains or in yonder seas. They are in your own backyard if you but dig for them. So today we are going to dig for some diamonds. And the point is you have some diamonds in you. Maybe you are not aware of them, but the process that I'm giving you today, it will help you discover these diamonds. But more than that, not only to discover the diamonds or the potential that is in you, we are going a lot further today. I'm going to help you to have really practical strategies and how to not only to discover those diamonds, but to put them to work. And eventually to become financially free, because that's one of the goals of Multipliers Club. Now, as I shared before, I had the presentation, the X Factor discovery process. And this is in the Multipliers Club. So if you're seeing this on YouTube or maybe on LinkedIn or on other social channels, I do encourage you to go to multipliersclub.com and sign up and see this presentation, because this is a very important presentation. It's probably about 40 minutes long, but it gives you a lot of details in how to discover your X factor. And now on the screen, you can see a QR code and you can sign up using this QR code and go and see this presentation because it is free. And in this presentation, we've discussed how you can discover your X factor. We've discussed about your intelligent type, and I challenged you to discover it. There are 9 types of intelligences, and it is important for you to know which one you have. Then a process to discover your passions, your main skills, your core values, your strengths. We've discussed about DISC, personality test, and Enneagram. So these are the things that you have, but it is important also to look at your dreams, at what is the potential that you see in your future. So what is your vision? What are your goals? What are your desires outcomes? If money was not a problem, what would you do? How do you define success? And we've discussed also about a practical way how to design this discovery process. So what skills do you need to develop? Who are your mentors? What is the strategy? How will you make course corrections if needed? So again, I encourage you to go and see this presentation, but it is important to realize that it is important for you to be yourself. Everybody else is taken, says Oscar Wilde. And life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. If you look in a mirror and you don't like what you see, there is a process to reinvent yourself. There is a process to recreate yourself. So how can you reinvent yourself? How can you recreate yourself? It is important to define that future you and to focus on it for a while through this process that I mentioned. So here are a few important questions to ask yourself. What do you want to be known for? How do you want to be different? What is your vision? What are your goals? What are your desired outcomes? How do you define success? If money and time was not a problem, what would you do? I really like this quote by Jeff Bezos, who says, "Your brand is what people say about you after you leave the room." This is a challenging thought, isn't it? Well, if you might not like what they are saying today when you leave the room, go through this process to define the future you so that you will be proud of what they will say when you leave the room. And for those who want to go deeper in the process I shared, you can go through this business model you, and you can define your brand, your personal brand, and put everything together in this canvas. And that's what I've shared in my last presentation about the X factor. But today I would like to go deeper. Today is about personal development. And it is what you do, but it is also about how you do things. And I really find this material from Patrick Lencioni, the 6 types of working genius, extremely, extremely helpful. I went through it myself, and it helped me a lot to understand about me, about how I'm doing things. So Patrick Lencioni says that all people in the world are in these 6 categories. And he says 99% of the people have 2 of the 6. And it is through the perspective of energy. So 2 of these areas, 2 of these working genius give you energy. So you are working and you don't even realize how time is flying because you love doing those things. And it is really easy for you to do them. So these 2 geniuses are the ones that give you energy. There are on the opposite way, there are 2 working geniuses that are draining your energy. So you don't really want to do those things. And sometimes we do have to do things on our daily lives that drain our energy. But it is important to realize, to make a list of those things that are draining your energy, and as much as possible to delegate them. But there are 2 types of working geniuses here that are draining your energy. So You want to minimize as much as possible those activities. And then there are other two geniuses here that are okay. I mean, they don't drain your energy, but they don't give you energy. They are just okay areas. And again, it is ideal to minimize those as much as possible. So I would encourage you to identify your working genius. So the genius of wonder, the natural gift of pondering the possibility of greater potential and opportunity in a given situation. So the question here is, when you are facing a new situation, do you automatically wonder, what if we'll do this? How about that? Is your brain automatically creating some scenarios and you're wondering about possibilities? The second genius is this genius of discernment, the natural gift of intuitively and instinctively evaluating ideas and situations. So the person who has this genius automatically knows that something would work there, or it has a high possibility of working, and some things would not work. So they are discerning, they are evaluating automatically, almost without effort. So if you happen to have this genius, you can look in your past in many, many different situations, and you automatically are the one who knows, who has the discernment. The genius of enablement, the natural gift of providing encouragement and assistance for an idea or a project. So this is the person who is quite positive and loves interaction with other people, and they encourage others. So they are enabling, they provide encouragement and assistance. So very practically, they want to help others so that the project goes forward. Then the genius of invention, the natural gift of creating original and novel ideas and solutions. These are the people who almost live more in the future than in the present. They are the innovators. They are the ones who automatically create new ideas. They dream about new possibilities, about new ways of doing things. So if you have this, you will automatically know it, because you come up many times with new ideas. Then the genius of galvanizing. This is the natural gift of relaying, inspiring, and organizing others to take action. So this is the person who loves to bring people together, to organize them, and to achieve the desired results. So for this person, this gives them energy. They love to work in a team and help others, inspire others, and organizing them to take action. Then the genius of tenacity. This is a natural gift of pushing projects or tasks to completion to achieve results. So these are the completer finishers. These are the ones who they get a lot of energy from seeing a project toward completion, and they are okay with even pushing others to make the project reality, to finish the project. So again, this is a great tool in the personal development toolbox that I suggest for you to use to discover your working genius. Now, one other tool that I'm using personally for my personal development is the Freedom Compass. And this comes from Michael Hyatt from his book, Free to Focus. So he puts all our activities in 4 categories. And they are in these categories through 2 lenses: proficiency and passion. So there are activities in the desire zone where you are passionate and you are proficient. You are very good at doing them. Then there is the second zone, the distraction zone, is where you have passion, but you are not proficient. You do not have the skills, you cannot do them well, but you are passionate. So this is the distraction zone. The third zone, the drudgery zone, is the one that you don't want to be in, is the zone where you have activities you are not passionate about them, and you are not proficient about doing them as well. So this is an area that you want to avoid as much as possible. And then the disinterest zone, there are activities where you are proficient, you can do them well, but you are not passionate. So this is a very interesting perspective to list, maybe take a week of your life and list most of the activities that you are doing in a week and put them in these 4 zones. And it does have, in a certain way, a relationship with what we've spoken before, because if you do activities that give you energy, I would guess that those are in the desire zone, right? You are proficient and you are passionate about them. Maybe are some in the distraction zone because you are passionate, but you are not proficient. But then you know that that's a development area. You have to develop some skills so that you move them from the distraction zone into the desire zone. So again, I would encourage you, take a few minutes, list activities in these 4 quadrants, and try to eliminate as much as possibly the drudgery zone, the disinterest zone, and the distraction zone, and put as many activities as you can in the desire zone. Now, if you really like this approach, I would encourage you to buy the book and go deeper, or search for the videos from Michael Hyatt, because there are quite a few free videos that you can find on YouTube about this subject. Now, I mentioned previously in my videos that I really, really respect and like James Clear, his book, Atomic Habits. And this is one of the most important quotes that I will share with you today. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. It is important to set goals, and we will have in the future, we have programmed in our Multipliers Club another broadcast where I will share about goal setting. So setting goals, it is important, but we can have the most brilliant goals in the world, the most wonderful, reasonable or unreasonable, big goals that you want to achieve. If you do not have a process to achieve them, it will not work. So it is important to have a system. Now, today, the good news is that I'm going to share with you a system that works. And it is a very, very practical system that you can apply today to see your goals coming closer to achievement. So here is the system, the Abundant Life 10X system. Here are the 10 most important areas of our lives. Yes, so it is investments, and we will define them in other videos a lot more. Actually, in the Multipliers Club, we will have a lot of materials on, especially on investments, because Multipliers Club, it is an investment club. But we will have some materials in each of these 10 areas of our life. The best resources in the world that we can find, we will share them with you. So it is about investments. And you can see here that the investments, it's separate from the business, because in the business, it is important. In the investments, we have money working for us. In a business, we are working for money, yes. But it is important, especially nowadays, to have a business as well. Even if you are a professional, it is important to start maybe a side hustle or to start a business, because in this world with AI, with jobs changing a lot more often than in the past, it is important to develop multiple streams of income. So in the business category, you can put also a subcategory that is career. And finances, it's mainly about budgeting, about personal financing, family, That's also the relationship with your partner, kids, extended family, and so forth. Health. Under the health, we can have several other categories. It can be fitness, it can be physical health, emotional health, and so forth. Recreation, hobbies, holidays, spiritual area, growth, personal growth, as I said, community. That's where we have friends and inner circle and power base and so forth. And of course, purpose, your impact, your legacy, your why. And we will speak about all of these in more detail later. So I am giving you today a system, the 10x system, and a very easy way to evaluate your life on weekly basis and to see where you need to do more and so forth. So the one question in the system that is, I believe, the most important question in this 10x life system is, what's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? Isn't this a brilliant question? Well, I didn't come with it. It is from this The One Thing book, but I love this question. So I believe that it is important for us to think really hard about this and to realize that we can have this question asked in each area of our life. So we will see now a video, the domino effect video that I shared before in some other presentations, but this is a brilliant video. It's a little bit over a 1 minute long, but it illustrates in an amazing way this principle. So about the one thing that we can do. So let's watch this.
Everybody knows about playing with dominoes, but what you may not know is that a domino can knock over another domino which is about 1.5 times larger. So what I have here is a chain of dominoes. Each one is 1.5 times larger than the previous one. And the smallest domino is about 5 millimeters high and 1 millimeter thick. And I will carefully place it. And there are 13 dominoes. And the largest domino, it weighs about 100 pounds and is more than 1 meter tall. Ready? Boom. That was 13 dominoes. If I had 29 dominoes, the last domino would be as tall as the Empire State Building.
Wow, isn't this amazing? 2 billion times more energy from the first one to the last one. This is mind-boggling, and this guy is a scientist. He has a doctorate in physics. And so the question is, what is the one thing, this one small thing maybe that we could do that can have a huge impact? And I really think it's worth meditating, defining, and writing down in each area of our life, which is the one thing. Now, you can look at this one thing question from some other perspective. What is the one thing that I can do today? What is the one thing that I can do this month, that I can do this year, that will change my life? What is the one thing that I can do in the next few years? So it is a really, really good question, and I highly, highly recommend to spend some time in each area of your life and to define the one thing. And please write it down. So what is the one thing in each area? Probably you can do it in, I don't know, it depends, 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe an hour, but it's worth it's worth the time and the effort, because the effect can be huge if that one thing is being done. Now, looking from another perspective, it's being known, very popular, the Pareto principle, which says that 80% of the results come from 20% of the inputs. And many times companies see that the sales, 80% of the sale come from 20% of the clients. But this works also in the impact in our lives as well, in the personal development. So what can you do? What is the 20% that you can do that will have the 80% effect? And some were saying, think about this even more extreme Pareto principle, 5 and 95%. So what is the 5% that you can do to have the 95% effect results in your life? Now, one other tool that I'm using, and recently in the last month or so I've used, is the best moment list, the 100 best moments list. I've read this book by John Acuff, and he suggests to sit down and write your 100 best moments list in your life. And it took me probably a bit more than an hour. I was actually on an airplane when I've done it, most of it. I was using that time to think about this list. So I went and wrote some in my first 20 years of the first 20 years of my life, and then in the next 20 years, and so forth. And I came up with that list, and it was a very interesting exercise, because you are focusing on the best moments of your life. And then you can put them in these 4 categories: accomplishments, experiences, relationships, and objects. And interesting enough, for me, I out of the 100 plus things that I put on the list, I had only one object. Then I had probably around 12, 15 people, I think, relationships, key relationships in my life. Then quite a few experiences and some accomplishments. I think this is a good tool, because based on what we see there, we can schedule some things in the future. We can put more development, personal development, in the future. And for me personally, I realized that I need to appreciate a bit more some people that had a huge impact in my life. So it was a very, very good and precious exercise for me. So I highly, highly encourage to write down your 100 best moments list, because this gives you a really good base for your personal development for the future. Because if those are the 100 best moments in your life, you want to schedule some of those to make them happen in the future, so that you live a life without any regrets. This is huge. It can help you to live a life without any regrets. So one other tool in our toolbox for personal development is to map out our ideal year. So when we are looking at all those 10 areas in our life, we can put some things, the big rocks, like Stephen Covey say in his illustration with the big rocks, where he puts the big rocks and then puts gravel into a basin. Because if you try to put first the gravel, it's impossible to put the big rocks. So the lesson there is put first the big rocks. Put first those things that you really, really want to see happening. So if you put the things that are important to you and map those out in those 10 areas for the next year, and you look at them, you say, well, this will be an amazing year if I do those things. So that's why it is important to map your ideal year. But I believe we can map out our ideal week. So we look at those 10 areas and we are saying, oh, what's the one thing? What are the 3 things that we need to do this week to make this happen? So Also, Michael Hyatt in the Free to Focus book, he suggests to define for each week the big three. Define the big three things that you want to see happening this week. And also taking that to the daily level. What are the big three things that I want to do today, that I really want to focus and make sure that if nothing else is being done, those three things are done. So again, these are really good tools that you can use in the personal development arena. So as I shared before, this is the system that I suggest, that I'm personally using. So I do have in OneNote these 10 areas, and I have goals, and I have a lot of things written down in each of the 10 areas. So I highly recommend. And of course, you can personalize them in each way you want. But I highly encourage to spend time in each of these area. Now, one really good exercise that I will speak a little bit later about is on weekly basis to do an evaluation, to do a weekly review. And shortly, I will mention this. But again, we will look and we'll be able to grade each area with in a certain way. One other tool in our toolbox for personal development that I highly recommend is the seven habits of highly effective people. I think if we pay attention to these seven principles, we will go a lot further with a lot less pain. And this is to be proactive. It's so wonderful to be around proactive people. And it's not very nice to be around reactive people or negative people. So proactivity is huge. Then begin with the end in mind. I think it's really a good exercise, either when you work by yourself or you work in a team, to have clarity on the end. Then put first things first. This is about priorities. Think win-win. This is huge, because if you are in a situation and negotiate anything, it can be with your kids, it can be with your partner, or it can be at work or with a client, if you win and they lose, it's not good for the long-term relationship. So win-win, it is important. Then seek first to understand and then to be understood. It also highly important. And here is, before trying to judge someone or a situation, it is important to ask questions. And we can avoid a lot of troubles if we first, even if it's something that seems to be crazy, something that is disturbing, if we ask first questions, if we want first to understand, it will be a lot better and a lot easier and a lot less conflict. Then synergize. Here, 1 + 1 is 3. We can do a lot more together than separately. So it is important to understand synergies and sharpen the saw. This is primarily about personal development. Again, great book. Tens of millions of books have been sold. It's been on bestseller lists forever. And it's one of the classic books in personal development. So I highly recommend this. Now, maybe you are saying, well, this is all good, but I am not that disciplined. I have gone through a very difficult season. I have tried different things and failed in the past. There is too much competition in what I do. I'm not good at tech. I do not have any good opportunities. It is too complicated. I'm too old, or it is too late. So yes, I think these are real issues and real problems. But I'm giving you today tools and a strategy where you can overcome all of this. All of these issues can be overcome. So we are here to help you thrive beyond all these limitations. So it is important to realize now we are getting toward the end of our presentation, and I want to emphasize a few very, very practical things. The quality of our habits is the quality of our life. So it is extremely, extremely important to develop good habits. And in the Atomic Habits book, James Clear suggests applying 1% daily growth rule. So, I mean, 1% to improve, it doesn't seem to be much, right? So what's 1%? So in those key areas where you want to grow, apply the 1% rule. Now, if you apply the 1% every day and you improve every day, by the end of 1 year, you will be 37 times better because of the compounding improvement that is happening. So the 1% rule, I mean, you can apply this in fitness, one more push-up every day or whatever. You can apply this in relationships with your partner, one more hug, one more appreciation, one more text message. You can apply it in sales, one more call, one more contact, and so forth. So applying the 1% growth rule, it is extremely important. Then another thing that I'm personally doing is habit stacking. After I do A, I will do B. So in the morning, I have a routine, and in the evening, I have some routines. So it is very easy when after I wake up, I do 8 or 9 things one after another in the same order. So it is whenever I want to make sure that something is being done, I put it there, because I've done that for months and years now. And so habit stacking, it's really good, because every single morning after I wake up, I start to make my coffee. Then I take some medicines. Then I do this and this and this. So it's very easy, and I do not waver from that routine every morning. So habit stacking, it's really, really awesome. So as I said, I think you can establish a morning routine, and I highly suggest an evening routine. And so these habits, having high quality habits here, it will help you grow personally a lot. Now, failure is only failure when we don't learn from it. It is important to, on daily basis, to evaluate, see where we failed, and start again next day, learn from those failures, and grow. Again, as I mentioned previously, what I highly, highly encourage you, in a weekly review, you can take probably even 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, where you go through this wheel of life and grade yourself from 1 to 10 in each area. So I think, looking at the previous week, you can give a grade in each area, and then look for the 2 lowest grades and see what you can do next week. So this is a very, very simple strategy. Take 10 minutes, grade yourself in each of the 10 areas, look at the 2 lowest grades, and put it on your calendar, on your to-do list for the next week, to do something to improve those 2 areas. Very simple technique, but can give you, week after week, a huge, huge growth opportunity. Never underestimate the importance of small steps. I highly encourage you to do something about this today. Start today. Write down those areas, grade yourself, and do something. Even in the next today and tomorrow, do something about those. And I highly encourage you, if you are not part of the Multipliers Club, to sign up. It is free, and become a multiplier. Now, multiplier, it's a nice word, but it's more than a word. You have two options. You have the option of doing all this by yourself, or you can join us, especially in the Multiplier Pro, where we do coaching as well, group coaching, and we can help you. I will give you a lot more resources and manuals where you can apply this, but we also have interaction with those who are in the Multiplier Pro community. So I highly, highly encourage you to be part of Multiplier and become also a Multiplier Pro subscriber. We have a lot of resources that are free. The Multiplier Pro subscriber at this point is $15 a month or $150 a year. A Multiplier Club is more than a product. It is a lifestyle. And we really want to help you thrive beyond limits. Thank you so much for watching this. It's been 40 minutes. So I would like to end with our manifesto. The manifesto describes who we are as multipliers. And especially if you identify, if you want to become one of the multipliers, please watch, listen to this, and sign up today. Thank you.
Opportunities are everywhere. There are no more boundaries. All that you need is around you. Imagine the grand possibilities. We dare to be different, determined, passionate. We are thinking big, unique souls, unstoppable. We are intense, brave, spiritual, courageous. We make our dreams a reality. We empower multipliers. We build brave communities. Love shines through everything we do. We unlock the potential in others. We never settle for, it's not possible. We push boundaries. We are change agents. We grow every day. We transform ideas into reality. We make the world a better place. It does not matter if it is cold, hot, dark. We create the future and bring hope to millions. We are not giving up. We make the impossible possible. We push through fears and weaknesses. We are the mass movement of people. We are the multipliers.